everyone has their own thoughts and expectations about backpacking. Whenever they get ready to plan a big adventure like through hiking, one really important thing to think about is the type of gear you're going to buy. Do you plan to be an ultralight through hiker, or do you plan to go the more traditional route as far as backpacking gear is concerned? Now, the main thing that people think about here is the price. Obviously, the ultralight gear is going to be a lot more expensive, and it's likely going to be more pleasant to hike with. But the more traditional, heavier weight gear works just fine as well. Now, whenever I started looking into gear, 2019, gearing up for my 2020 through hike attempt, I had heard from one friend that told me, you gotta look at the ultralight, you gotta buy ultralight, it's gonna make all the difference. And I'm sure it did help what few ultralight items I had. It's one of those things you have to think about. If you're gonna go with an ultralight pack, then it's really important that all your other gear be ultralight, because that usually means it's ultra packable too. So I feel like most people would like to be on the lighter side. Obviously, it's gonna make the days more comfortable, you know. Constantly having weight on your back, any little bit that you can shed is going to be appreciated, but you have to decide for yourself where your comfort zone meets your wallet. And in 2020, for my first big hike, I didn't have the money to get everything I would have liked to get, and the same story was true in 21. I've had a lot more time to save money and look at gear and decide what I like and what I don't like. And with that being said, I'm still not ultralight. Yeah, I have a lot of ultralight gear. It's nice, but my pack is going to be heavy AF. And one thing I really realized going from 2020 to 2021, if you're doing it right, your food bag should usually be the heaviest thing about your pack. So that's a big thing for me. I want to be hiking with a lot of food this go round. Ultralight people typically have lighter, smaller packs, right? Like 40 liters and below. Some are rocking like 30, 35 liter packs. That's just not going to offer that much room for food, which is going to leave you bouncing from town to town. All this hike is essentially a series of section hikes, right? But I would prefer to spend the majority of my time in the woods. I would rather grab 4, 5 days of food regularly and not have to drop into town so often. Whereas, you know, a 35 liter pack just isn't going to afford that much room. Now, you can spread out how often you eat, how little you eat, but that's not what I'm looking to do on this hike. So, like I said, mad respect for the ultralighters, but that's just not going to be me this year. I haven't got a, definite weight on my pack, a base weight yet. I'm looking for a little hanging scale, but if I can't find one, I'll do like a with the pack, without the pack on a regular scale. So, Jupiter Hikes, I love that guy. I love his channel. Darwin, he's great. I love watching his channel. I have a bunch of friends that are ultralight, so I'm not knocking it. I have mad respect for it. But for my style of hiking personally, I would rather have a few little comfort items that are gonna make a difference. At the end of the day, for me, I'd rather, add a couple of Twinkies to my pack that's going to be twice the weight as a strap or a cord that someone else might cut off. So, that's my thoughts on ultralight. Get it as light as you can, but, don't stress about it. Or stress about it if that's your thing. You know what I mean? That's cool too. That's what's cool about backpacking. You go out there and do your thing. It's kind of like skateboarding. Nobody's really gonna judge you or tell you you're doing it wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's those kind of people everywhere, but as long as you're having a good time, that's really all that matters. Which brings me to my next point. Purists. That's what people call other people on the trail that take hiking every mile super seriously, right? Now, just for clarification, I hiked the trail in 2 sections, and there was a section around the roller coaster, I think that maybe Northern Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. Me and a buddy got off to go stay with some girls he knew in the area. Seemed like a no-brainer to me. And whenever we got back on, it was more convenient for her to drop us off at a trailhead that, you know, caused us to knock off about 4 miles of our total hike. So that's my confession, I guess. You know, not that I've lied about it or anything, but there's a lot of people out there that would say, you didn't hike the whole trail. And I mean, they would say that about me anyways, because I hiked the trail in 2 sections. And that's not typical through hiker etiquette. Is that the right word? We'll go with it. So anyways, I'm not calling myself a purist. I do plan on hiking every mile unless extenuous circumstances arise, like, you know, that little section of the roller coaster. So, and everybody has to make their own decision on that too. I'm not against people being a purist. I think that's cool in its own right. You know, some people take it extra seriously to the point where, you know, say the trail comes into a campground or shelter on this side, and you can exit the campground / shelter on this side, but the trail also goes around. There are some people that will go out the same way they came in just to hit all of the trail. And that's cool. Do your thing. That's not my thing. It doesn't, you know, particularly float my boat. So that's my thoughts on being a purist and being an ultralight backpacker. Y'all stay tuned for some more videos. Like and subscribe. Have a good one.